everyone, welcome back to Ace Attorney Investigations. Sorry for another delay. Hopefully we'll be able to work things out. Hold on. Let me just check that there's audio. I don't want to make the same mistake as I did before. Yeah, okay. Doing good. Let's just move this a little bit upwards. Yeah, alright. Good enough. Okay, so yeah, welcome back. Last time we stopped, we were investigating the death of a Borginian fella by the name of something Higgs. Was it Akbert Higgs? Hold on, let's see. Right. So this is a flashback case. This is taking events taking place before the first case. This is before Edgeworth even arrived on America. And, yeah. A man by the name of Akby Higgs was murdered inside an elevator. Or, well, now we know that he wasn't murdered inside an elevator. He was murdered somewhere else and brought into the elevator to make it look like that's where the actual crime scene was. We've been unfortunately roped into the accusation of being a murderer, and now we gotta clear up our name and find out who actually did it. Right now we're suspecting the flight attendant Rhoda Tenerio, and we got Franziska von Karma here with us. She's the actual prosecutor for this case, so. And we got Gumshoe too. So yeah, we managed to convince, I guess you can call it that, convince Von Karma that we're not the murderer. So now we got to work together on finding out who the actual culprit is. You hurry and solve your murder. If you do not, how am I supposed to have my cargo returned to me? If you could please be patient just a little longer, Mr. LeBlanc. Hurry and solve it! Like a strike of thunder! It's as fast as lightning, and believe me, if I could, I would. I've been told by Miss Von Karma that you can now enter the flight attendant's room. Please feel free to look around. Thank you. Now to unravel Miss Tenerio's true intentions. Here we go. March 12th, 2:23 p.m., Flight G390, first floor, flight attendant's room. So you're the ones that poked around inside this plane without the captain's permission. Deviating from the flight attendant's manual is very unbecoming, you know. What were you hoping to accomplish by doing that? Miss Tenerio. Mr. Edgeworth, you're here too? Can you please help us and shed some light on why you did what you did? Alright. What do we got here? What is all this junk inside these boxes? There's no rhyme or reason to any of it. That's our lost and found, Mr. Edgeworth. Gold crowns and swords and necklaces? It's like a treasure trove in here, sir. The fact that these were left on the plane implies they were carried onto it to begin with. Something tells me it's time for GoU to send its metal detectors out for repairs. And what are inside these boxes? Oh, those are some souvenirs I bought in Virginia. There's so many! There's even a second box! Well, yes, I found that folk art from around the world does great things for my creativity. Those suitcases certainly could have done with a whole lot less of your creativity. There is sure to be a clue of some sort in this trash can. Detective Gumshoe, if you please. Yes, sir. You just leave the rummaging to me. Scruffy, how dare you go through a woman's trash without her permission? Have you no sense of honor? Eek! I'm sorry, I'm just doing what Mr. Edward told me to. Ow! Forgive me, Detective. This door leads to the cargo hold, but I can't let you through without Miss Von Karma's express permission. That's not a bad way to handle this situation if it was any old case, but this isn't. So between you and Miss Von Karma, who's better at their job? Oh, there's no comparison to be made, Detective. None. Mars Edgeworth, isn't there something that you should be doing right now? Of course, I should be asking Mr. Nero for her side of the story. That's right. And how does that have anything to do with what's over there? Nothing really. If you already knew that, then why don't you hurry up with the interrogation already? Alright. Calm down. Pretty easy to tell who sleeps in which bunk just by looking. I'm almost certain that the well-kept one up top belongs to Mr. Nero. Ew, this bottom was a giant mess. You sloven, squalid scoundrel of a man. You dare to scrutinize a woman's bed and invade her privacy. Yo! Some things in life best kept to yourself, Detective. He's not wrong, but yeah. What exactly is this panel for? Ah, that's the emergency control panel for the elevator. We used it to stop the elevator on the first floor and to keep its doors open. So these are the attendants' lockers, huh? Let's hurry up and examine them, sir. Why must men always be so rude? Besides, who exactly gave you permission to search the attendants' lockers? Wait, Detective! It would be uncouth of us to look in a woman's locker without her permission. Yeah, I guess so. Plus, I feel this murderous draft and I can sense a whip not far behind. Okay. Managed to save him from that one. One of those suitcases designed by Mr. Nero. You can tell it's hardly ever been used by the lack of even a single scratch on it. Alright. Thanks. See ya. Oh! Okay. Yes, sir? Way to show who's boss, Mr. Edgeworth. Not even Miss Von Karma's whip is a match for you. You give me too much credit. She simply didn't have all the information. To be sure, the fights will become tougher and tougher as this investigation progresses. That's alright, Mr. Edgeworth. You've got me watching your back. I'll make sure to keep on supporting you any way I can. You just say the word, sir. Really? Then how about standing out in front and absorbing whiplashes for me? Oh, I feel like he's been doing that already. To be fair. Well, go on. Let's hear our troublesome attendant out. In due time, I do have one thing I'd like to ask you. Yes? Do you plan to continue using that whip for the foreseeable future? Of course. I've wrangled many a testimony out of people thanks to it. Yeah, probably a whole ton of yelps. No! And I'm willing to bet that the majority of them came from you, Detective. Alright. Hello. Here's my badge. I'm sorry, Miss Edgeworth. I don't know how to answer you. As a professional flight attendant, I'm a failure. She must be worn out from the long questioning session she just went through. Alright. Why'd you lie about receiving the captain's permission like that? Because I didn't think I would be able to get his permission. What do you mean? The captain, he only has ears for Cammy. I spoke with the captain a little earlier myself. He definitely seems to be rather taken with Miss Meal. Yes, and on top of that, I had mistakenly accused Mr. Edgeworth of being the killer. I wanted to make amends. In that case, please allow me to thank you for what you did. Thanks to you, I was able to clear myself of all charges. Really? You were able to prove your innocence? Oh, thank goodness. Mr. Nero, is it? There's one more thing I'd like to ask you. You were in the in-flight shop just before the turbulence, weren't you? Please answer honestly. Yes, I was. And why were you there? Well, on the sudden hesitation, Franziska seems to have struck a nerve. All I did was go check up on the shop like I always do. You're saying it was for work then? Yes, I'm in charge of the shop, so I had to keep an eye on it. I don't have any reason to go there otherwise. After you visited the shop, you paid a visit to this room, correct? Yes, I came back to freshen up and adjust my makeup. Sorry, but there isn't much else to tell. This scenario claims to have no reason other than duty to go to the shop. But is that all there is to it? Maybe I should ask her about that thing. If you could please take a look at this for me, Mr. Nero. Oh, that suitcase. Yes, about the suitcase. You are the one who designed it, correct? And I think I figured something else out about it. This suitcase is the reason you went to the shop, isn't it? There's nothing you won't find out eventually, is there? Won't you please tell me more about this suitcase? Yes, I was interested in seeing how the suitcases I had designed were selling. I know that as a service professional I'm not supposed to care, but I really wanted to know. And I was glad to see that I was the last one there. The last one there? Well, we know that not to be the case. So you're saying, Mr. Nero, that the suitcase in question was the last one? Yes, they're just so popular they're practically flying off the shelves. That's not exactly the impression I got. The one in the shop is most definitely the last one. Well, we're currently looking at that suitcase. Really? And I guess we sold all of them. Thank you very much for taking the last one. I didn't say anything about buying it. Let's say you'll buy it. I'm sorry, I can't. But why? I think it'd go great with your complexion, Miss Edgeworth. It really suits you. I guarantee it presently as a service professional. Well, that is, how should I put this? It's hideous. What? Maybe that was a bit too direct. Moving on, my issue with the suitcases isn't the design, it's the number of them remaining. Remaining? There were 2 suitcases in the in-flight shop when I investigated it. 2? But that's impossible. I'm sure there was only 1. Looks like her story has generated quite the contradiction. When I left the shop, positive there was only 1 suitcase left. Something is amiss here. What could be the meaning of this inconsistency? By the way, Mr. Nero. What is one of those suitcases doing here? That's... I thought you said there was only 1 left. That one is, it's mine. I've used it for a very long time now. She's used it for a long time. I think not. Mr. Nero, I appreciate it if you wouldn't lie to me. Excuse me? I don't believe for even 1 second that you've used this for a very long time. What proves that this hasn't been used for nearly as long as Mr. Nero says?
Take that!
Tell me, Mr. Nero, is it also your habit to keep the price tag pristine on your suitcase? What is the meaning of this? Why would you lie about the suitcase? Despite having faith in her design sense, the sales numbers made her cry bitter tears. The truth is becoming increasingly clear to me. Mr. Nero, I think I understand. I know what you are trying to hide. Now then, the suitcase was originally in... Seeing as how the price tag is still on the suitcase, one can only assume it was out on the floor for sale in the shop. And the person who bought the suitcase was...
Take that!
It was you, wasn't it, Mr. Nero? I hate to say this, but this suitcase that you designed, it hasn't sold very well, has it? You saw how poorly this design that you poured your heart into was selling, and were deeply hurt. That's why you wanted to make it look like it was selling by buying it yourself. Isn't that right? Then the reason he went to the shop and came back here was... I'm sorry. all I really have is my job. I was overjoyed when my design was chosen. I thought that maybe I had finally accomplished something. But the suitcases didn't sell. It's because of the design, isn't it? All because it's, as you put it, hideous. Can't say they chose a great place in which to sell them either. We weren't selling a single one, and they were just sitting there collecting dust. I felt so bad seeing them there day in and day out, so I decided to buy one for every flight I worked. You buy one every single time you work a flight? I see. So in order to keep your resolution, you went and bought one today as well. Yes, and here's my receipt for that purchase. This receipt is clearly time-stamped 5:40 a.m. The truth is, there's still a bunch of them left unsold. They're planning to scrap the remaining ones at the end of this flight. Mr. Nero, where are these other suitcases? They should all be down in the cargo hold. Since the suitcase the killer used could very well have come from the cargo hold. Mr. Edgeworth, you don't think that the killer used one of my suitcases to... Yes, I do. The killer used one of your beloved suitcases to move the victim's body. How could they? Those suitcases were meant to be faithful partners to our passengers on their trips. That's all I ever wished for them to be. Mr. Nero, is there any other way to get to the cargo hold other than the elevator? The only other way is just through that door there. And what about the security? That door has no special lock installed because just to enter this room, you need a special keycard that only crew members have access to. Which means that the culprit is someone who can enter this room, eliminating the passengers and leaving only crew members as potential suspects. I can't believe it. Yes, Franziska? Going on these wild goose chases, you are disgraced to the one common name. And what do you mean by that? The suitcase came from the cargo hold. That fact alone tells the whole story. Yes, which is why I said the culprit must be a crew member who used their keycard. Mas address? You're proposing that the killer rode the elevator from the cargo hold, correct? Yes, that's the only realistic possibility. That other attendant, Miss Meal. I asked her earlier and she had this to say. Franziska got information out of Miss Meal. In order to make the elevator go down to the cargo hold, a different keycard is required. A different one? Yes, and the only person who holds that particular card is you, Miss Rhoda Tenero, and only you. What? Is this true, Miss Tenero? Yes, I keep that keycard in my locker at all times. Could you please show us that card right now? Yes, hold on. It's not looking good. I don't believe it. What's wrong? The keycard, it's gone. Very clever. Pretending that your card was stolen when in fact you're just trying to hide it from us? You really thought this through. Wait, it's not like that. You can tell us all about what it's like down at the station. Officer, arrest this woman. Yes, ma'am. Mr. Edgeworth. What's wrong? There's disbelief written all over your face. Franziska, I know that you're the lead investigator on this case, however... Hold it! Don't even think about wasting any more of my time. You know the rules as well as... You know the rules as well as I do. Evidence speaks louder than words. Even if this isn't a courtroom, that basic tenet still applies. I intend to investigate the cargo hold now. What will you do, my Advest? I intend to do likewise. To be continued. Huh, okay. I thought I would be able to talk to the witnesses at the terminal, but I ended up accidentally skipping them, and then I never got the chance to return to them. That's a shame. Oh well. You win some, you lose some. Alright. Let's continue. March 12th, 2:52 p.m. Flight G390, lower deck, cargo. Wow, so this is the cargo hold, huh? Whee! It's so big! This plane is a special model. It has both a super large cargo hold and ultra luxurious first class seating. So, this is a real scene of the matter. There is certainly a high probability of that, which is why we are here, correct? Okay, let's get investigating, sir. Yes, sir? So that flight attendant, Rhoda Tenero, she's a killer, isn't she? I don't think we can say that for sure yet. But there certainly are a great number of things pointing us in that direction. You mean like how she didn't tell us about her buying her own suitcase? Yes, however, in regard to the keycard being stolen, I can't seem to find any evidence that she's lying about that. Ooh, I just love pushing the buttons on elevators and crosswalk signals. Here, you should give it a try, sir. Go on, push it. The elevator is currently stopped on the first floor, Detective. It can't move. Oh yeah, I guess nothing would happen if you pushed it now. Well, nothing would happen normally anyway without the special keycard. Both the door to the attendance room and the elevator's control panels require a keycard, which makes it impossible for a passenger to come down here. All sorts of boxes are piled up here. This one says flammable, and this one it says pharmaceuticals. This one says for exorcism use only. Just what kind of operation is this airline running? Not your typical cargo. Hey, what's with the suitcase, pal? It's what the victim checked in, sir. So this suitcase belongs to Mr. Hicks. I don't think he'd mind if we take a closer look. There's nothing out of the ordinary in here, sir. Wait, a file? And there's a photo of Miss Von Karma in it, sir. Looks like a profile on Franziska. Whoa, okay. What are the odds? Why would Mr. Hicks have had a file on her? Franziska, did you piss off the Borginians? What happened? Have you noticed anything strange happening around here? No, sir. I haven't noticed a thing. I'm not sure that he meant to sound so oblivious. You arrived at the scene of the crime before Detective Gumshoe, correct? And you then immediately began to direct the investigation. It seems to me that you were already here at this airport for something besides this murder. Yes, I was. Oh, okay. I've been following a very large and involved governmental level international crime. But it's much too large for one person to take on alone. So it was decided that I should form a joint investigation with Interpol. Interpol is involved? It's a top secret operation, so I really can't tell you any more than I already have. What do you think about... Oh. We don't have the profile on her? Okay. What do you think about this? There's something much more urgent we should be dealing with right now. Don't waste my time or yours. What do you think about this piggy bank, Franziska? What do I think? What else is there to think about? What else is there to think but that it's the murder weapon? I meant, what do you think about Captain Ugo himself? He's a crude rendition of a genus of primates commonly referred to as slow lorises. What? Slow lorises? Loris comes from the Dutch word for simpleton, which is extremely fitting because that's exactly what Captain Ugo represents. The guilty simpleton I'm going to arrest. I don't suppose she's capable of giving a more normal answer. That's the victim. It's infuriating to see him crumpled on the floor like that, lifeless. I will catch someone who did this to him myself, I swear it! This guy's really worked up over the victim. Was he like an informant? An informant for Interpol or something? Huh. Maybe. Alright. Let's not waste any more time. Holy suitcases, Mr. Edgeworth. It's like an all-you-can-use suitcase fair. These must be all the leftover ones they couldn't sell. Ones that company is planning to dispose of after this fight is over. This paint job is really cool, don't you think? It practically screams artsy. Oh, why not purchase one then? I'm sure it'll bring you much happiness. You think so? Then maybe I will. Let's see here. $1,200? I think I'll pass. And Mr. Nero wonders why they don't sell. You'd need 2 jobs just to buy one. Although, it definitely looks like one is missing. What is this brittle substance I'm stepping on? It's a bunch of glass fragments. Okay. Can we do that right now? I think we can safely conclude that these fragments are from a pair of glasses. And the victim was wearing a pair of broken glasses. Exactly what I was thinking. I'm sure that the shards would match up perfectly with the remnants of his glasses lenses. Ergo, the victim was here, just as I suspected. So you're saying that the real scene of the crime was here, sir? Isn't that what I've been saying for a while now? Oh, is it? I didn't know that. Perhaps it's a bit early to draw that conclusion. However, I believe that the probability has just skyrocketed considerably. All that's left is to find the murder weapon. Alright. Let's finish up investigating here before we try to connect any more dots. Keeping track of this many pieces of cargo must be very taxing on the cargo crew. It sure brings back memories of when I worked as a part-time mover, sir. By the look in his eyes, he's waiting for me to ask about the rest of the story. But no matter how he pours on the puppy eyes, I have no intention of doing so. Oh, is that it? Alright. That's it for the investigation, I guess. Alright, we got what we came here for. Now, why would Mr. Hicks have documents profiling Franziska? Oh, I know. I was a big fan of Miss von Karma, sir. Franziska said that she had come to this airport as part of an Interpol investigation. Oh, maybe Mr. Hicks had heard she was coming here and he followed her. Detective, I think it's more likely that Mr. Hicks was, in actuality, Interpol Agent Hicks. I think Franziska has some explaining to do. You came to this airport to rendezvous with the victim, didn't you? Nonsense! What are you talking about? We found a profile detailing information about you in the victim's luggage. I suppose it was prepared for him so that he could recognize you when he landed. Which makes him not Mr. Hicks, but rather Interpol Agent Hicks. Isn't that correct? I should have known you'd figure it out, Miles. But it looks like they got to him first. So you really did come here to receive an Interpol agent, then? Yes. Agent Hicks was on the trail of a very large international smuggling ring. He went undercover to investigate this crime, and it was I who put him on this case. I was supposed to receive a call from him on his cell phone once he had landed. I never expected to receive a call about his murder instead. I think we now have pretty definitive evidence that Agent Hicks came down here to the cargo hold. What was he doing down here, sir? It's nothing but luggage. Oh, I get it. Maybe he forgot something in his suitcase and came down to get it. Agent Hicks came here for a work-related reason. Of that, I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure he was here to investigate the smuggling operation he was observing. Franziska, do you know exactly how he intended to pursue his investigation? No, unfortunately I was going to find out from him after he landed. I see, but this raises another question. A normal passenger can't access the cargo hold on their own. Agent Hicks must have identified himself to a member of the crew, and enters the cargo hold with that person who let him in. Yes, and then he was murdered here. These glass fragments and his broken glasses are a testament to that. And then the killer put Agent Hicks into one of the spare suitcases and they entered the elevator. But while they were riding it up, the plane hit that patch of turbulence. Because of the intense shaking, the suitcase popped open and Agent Hicks' body flew out. At the same time, his wallet fell out of his pocket, spilling its contents everywhere. which explains why there was money scattered all over the elevator floor. Alright. I think it's pretty easy to say who the culprit is at this stage. What? Really, sir? I know what you're thinking, Miles Address, but the killer can be none other than Miss Rhoda Tenero. You do realize that she shares her flight attendant's room with another flight attendant? Another flight attendant who could just as easily steal the keycard from her? Just a thought. If it was a crew member, any of them could have shown Agent Hex to the cargo hold. But the point to keep in mind is the keycard that allows the elevator to come down here. The only person with such high-level access is Miss Rhoda Tenero. I'd say that's a pretty decisive piece of information, wouldn't you? Sure. I know what you're trying to say, but I'm not certain it's as simple as that. If it was a crew member, any of them could have shown Agent Hex to the cargo hold.
Hold it!
That might be true, but then it could be anyone, including Miss Mule or even the captain. Don't be a fool. A plane without a pilot in the cockpit is like a horse without a rider, crop in hand, much like Scruffy over there. I can't disagree with her on that. Detective Gumshoe does always need a guiding hand. Very well, then what about the other flight attendant, Miss Mule? I thought you might ask about her. But the point to keep in mind is the keycard that allows the elevator to come down here.
Hold it!
But it's highly likely that the keycard was stolen from Miss Tenero.
Objection!
It's highly likely. Is that possibility the best you can come up with? And you call yourself a disciple of my father? Yes, well, I don't have any evidence, Be quiet. You are a disgrace. There's more evidence pointing to Miss Rhoda Tenero, you know. It's not just the keycards that gives her away. Are you talking about the murder weapon, the Captain Ogo piggy bank? Yes, she's also the only person with the key to open that display case. Further, there's the matter of the key to the display case that held the murderous bank.
Hold it!
But that is a fake. Stop right there, Mazacheves. You don't have any proof that this is just a red herring. If you must keep on insisting that it's a fake, then what is the real murder weapon and where did it go? Speechless, I see. That's not a surprise. After all, you know that we searched the entire cargo hold and came up empty-handed. Must be a way. There must be something that can help me rule out the piggy bank as a murder weapon. What should be examined further to help us ascertain the authenticity of the weapon? Franziska, I think you were too quick to jump to your conclusion. Oh, was I? Yes, we don't even have the autopsy results here. How can I not say that you made a snap judgment when you have yet to even see if the wound on Agent Hicks's head is consistent with the murder weapon? Scrappy? Yes, sir. Contact the medical examiner's office at once. I wish to hear the results of Agent Hicks's autopsy. Yes, sir. Tell you what, it's a good thing that Gumshoe is not black. Otherwise, all of this abuse would have been even more controversial, to say the least. We've got a big problem, Mr. Edwards, sir. What? What is it, detective? They're still doing the autopsy, but they said that they already know this one thing for sure. Report? No. The doc said that it's one giant bruise from a beating from his shoulder down to his mid-back. From the victim's shoulder to his mid-back. He was beaten over such a wide area. Well, I'd say maybe it's a sign the killer had a grudge against Agent Hicks. It wasn't just his head. The killer went all out and hit him multiple times, sir. Scruffy, what is had a grudge against Agent Hicks supposed to mean? Well, that's, Was the wound on the victim's head consistent with the murder weapon, detective? Oh, well, they said they were still looking into that, sir. You're completely useless. Sir, I told you already, you can't go down there. No, you remove yourself from my way. What is all that racket? My luggage, my cargo, they're mine, and I demand you return them to me. We're still investigating the cargo. Please understand, have a little patience. I suppose there is no choice. Finally, I think he get. Hey, what you? You have left me no choice but to use strong force. You won't get past me. Oh, this is. Wait, that's it. So that's what this whole thing has been about. Further, there's a matter of the key to this black case that held the murderous bank. After all, you know that we searched the entire cargo hold and came up empty-handed. He was killed by gravity. Doc said that it's one giant bruise from a beating from his shoulder down to his mid-back. Okay. Allegedly, the killer struck the victim many times over, which is why there is extensive bruising over such a wide area. But is that really the correct conclusions to draw from the evidence? The bruise from his shoulder to the middle of his back is one continuous mark, which is more suggestive of a single blow to the back. If that's the case, then the piggy bank is much too small to have caused that. Therefore, the middle weapon must be something far bigger. If we're looking for a rather large weapon... Alright, sorry about that. Where was I? Right. If we're looking for a rather large weapon, you'd think it would stick out. But so far, we haven't found anything that resembles a weapon of any sort. Perhaps, just perhaps, it's something we all overlooked from the very beginning. Because normally, it's too impossibly big to be taken into consideration. What was that all about? Was he trying to jump his way down here? Franziska? What? What do you want? I found it, Franziska. I found the real murder weapon. You did? He really jumped? We didn't realize it until now, but the onslaught has been right in front of us this whole time. He might be hurt. We should go check up on him, sirs. There's that pompous attitude of yours again. You should learn to drop that habit. This coming from a prosecutor with a habit of whipping everyone she comes across. Anyway, if you really are a prosecutor, then you back yourself up with evidence. You two aren't listening at all, are you? Come on then, show me this real murder weapon you speak of. I don't have any evidence to show you. Foolish reasoning for a foolish fool from a foolishly foolish fool meant to fool me. What do you mean by I don't have any evidence to show? Perhaps I should have phrased it as that which caused Agent Hicks's death is incorporeal. Forgive me, but I do believe I have figured out what was the real cause of death. The victim fell from a great height and subsequently died as a result. In other words, the real cause of death is free falling to the ground. He fell to his death? Yes, this is the only possible possibility. The victim has extensive bruising on the back of his head and his back. The only rational explanation for these injuries is that he fell to his death. But the matter happened inside his plane. I know. Are you claiming that there is some place in this plane from which he could have fallen from? As I said earlier, the answer has been right in front of us the entire time. You can't mean. Yes, I do. The victim fell from the top of the stairs of this very cargo hold. What? Then, we're in trouble. We may have a second death on our hands, sirs. Hey, you! Tell me you aren't dead, pal. Quiet! Why are you screaming? Oh, he's alive. And there you have it, Maz Edgeworth. It's not possible that Agent Hicks fell over the railing to his death. That man is living proof of that. I suppose it's true that it's not possible, given the current circumstances. The current circumstances? What is that supposed to mean? Suppose that large piece of cargo wasn't there at the time. What would have happened then? He would have been a Bulgarian pancake for sure, sure. I suppose that man over there wouldn't still be breathing. But the reality is that the cargo box is there. So there's no point in entertaining your wild hypothetical scenarios. It may be there now, but there is no proof that it was always there. As if there could have been a window of time when that giant box was not there. Ah, but there was. What? What can I use to show her that it's possible the box was not always where it is now?
Take that!
You refueled in the Republic of Zhengfa? Yes, this flight has short layover in Zhengfa in order to refuel. But that wasn't the only reason for the layover. We also transferred some cargo. What if the box in question was only transferred onto the plane at that time? To further prove my point, let's take a look at what's next to the box in question. Ah, it's labeled Zhengfa Express. Correct, meaning it was loaded onto the plane in Zhengfa. Now, what if the box in question was also loaded on at the same time? It would mean that the box was not here in the cargo hold during the Europe Zhengfa leg of the flight, making a clear drop from which Agent Hicks could have fallen to his death entirely possible. Ah, but your theory is still very far-fetched. Then allow me a chance to prove how very likely my scenario is. My first order of business will be to examine that piece of cargo in more detail. Oh, okay. So we're not quite done yet. There's still more investigations to be had. Okay, how are we doing over here? Okay. Good, good. Looking good. Alright. Wait. Hello? What? Okay. Don't scare me like that, YouTube. Alright, sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Let's continue our investigation. Leftover suitcases sit here, lined up in two pretty neat rows. Too bad for Miss Scenario, but this design is unmarketable. I'd buy one if it was cheaper, sir. You think they'd sell it to me at a discount? Oh, or why don't they sell them in the airport and have a bargain basement sale? Buy one, get one free. If you win the raffle, you get one more for free. How about those ideas, sir? I think if they did that, everyone would lose. So, Mr. Hicks was actually an Interpol agent. That is so cool. I can't believe he was from Interpol. The adventure, the glamour, and the miraculous big escape when he get caught by the enemy. Except, in this case, there was no big escape. And no miracle. All sorts of boxes are piled up here. This one says flammable. This one, it says pharmaceuticals. This one says for exorcism use only. What kind of operations is airline running? Okay. Why are we, okay. Or we're repeating dialogue. You can rant at me and you can rant at me and Virginia all you want, but no, still means no, sir. What? You cheap man! You are only waiting for me to give you money, yes? This guy's really pushy. Wonder if he really makes any sales this way. As long as I never have to face him in court, he can be as pushy as he wants. If I may have a word with you, Franziska, I don't think you have the time for idle chatter. You still need to prove to me that your hypothetical situation is in fact reality. Alright. I'll get right on that then. Keeping track of this many pieces of cargo must be very taxing on the cargo crew. It sure brings back memories of when I worked as a part-time mover, sir. At the look in his eyes, he's waiting for me to ask about the rest of the story. But no matter how he pours on the puppy eyes, I have no intention of doing so. Okay. Oh. This is a rather large piece of cargo. There's a tag on it, sir. Let's see. Ali Fred statue? Never heard of it. Nor I, but all I care about is if we can prove it wasn't here at the time of the crime. Let's get investigating, sir. Oh. Look here! Do not go about touching my possessions without my permission. Ah, don't rush up on me like that, pal. So this belongs to Mr. LeBlanc, does it? I should see what else I can find out from him. I take it that this large piece of cargo belongs to you, Mr. LeBlanc? Of course it is mine. I shipped this fine piece of art from Europe. This Ali Fred statue is worth 10 million cents. No, maybe much, much more. Mr. LeBlanc's reason for choosing this plane must have been the large cargo hold. 10 million cents? I suggest you stop trying to calculate how many packets of noodles that makes, Detective. Darn, how did you do that? I feel like you keep getting better and better at seeing right through me every year. Though I grow with each revolution of the planet around the sun, I have the distinct impression he continues to madly spin in place. Hey, Mr. Edward, so that 10 million cents, is that in euros or in dollars? Does it really make a difference to our case? Mr. LeBlanc, there's a chance that your cargo is very related. There's a chance that your cargo is related to our murder case. I was wondering if you would allow us to examine it a bit closer? It is a very valuable piece of art, so no, there will be no touching. How can we convince him? What? You show me something of no value? Show me the bread first and maybe we will talk. Wait, he wants me to pay him before he'll comment on this? What do you mean worthless? This is your cargo. Crazy bastard. What a waste. How horrible to see a priceless piece of cloth soiled. I assure you it wasn't me. I believe it to be the work of the killer. I will teach that killer a lesson. You can be sure I will. It will be the LeBlanc Revolution. I think he meant the LeBlanc Retribution, but either way, it sounds intimidating. Oh. Is that the art piece? Could be. I can say you have the guts to show me a piece of art at this time, but from a single glance I can already tell it is mostly worthless. This is much more value as a piece of non-art, I assure you. You look like you have something to say. Perhaps you are thinking like casting pearls before swine? He actually hit the nail on the head for once. What? You show me something of no value? Show me the bread. Okay. Well, now what? Let's see. Maybe things aren't what they appear to be. If Mr. LeBlanc has something to do with the smuggling ring, then it's possible this fake statue was brought on board in Zhangfa. I think I need to question him a bit further. About your statue, Mr. LeBlanc. I wonder if it might be a fake. What? How dare you say my art is fake? I suspect that your statue might be the target of an international smuggling ring. Don't say such fantastical things. Those thieves would not dare. I have the certification of my cargo right here. Do you mean the cargo certification document? Mr. Zinc LeBlanc, why did you say so earlier? Please show it to us at once. I can't read this. What does it say? It says as plain as day. The cargo was put onto the plane in Europe. And there you have it, Master West. Too bad for you. This statue was brought on board in Europe, just as it states in the certificate. No, that's... Which means that there was never a window of time in which the statue was sitting there. Is that really the case? I respectfully disagree. We can't discount the theory until I see the statue for myself. Then you can have your wish. Look at it yourself and see I am right. This? I know I've seen this somewhere before. This is the leaf red? Gives off such a feeling of art, I can practically smell it. This statue has a high amount of historic value. After it was unveiled at a museum in Europe, I brought it to this country to exhibit it. I believe a closer look is warranted here. So this is the infamous Alif Red statue. What is it, Miss Edgewood? Did you find something? There's something wrong with this picture. We should examine it in more detail. So this is the Alif Red statue. I swear I've seen this somewhere before. And what, this thing is worth 10 million cents? Look at how it sparkles, sir. I wouldn't call it sparkling, detective. Maybe more along the lines of dully shining. What's this? The statue looks like it's stepping all over its neighbor's cloth cover. Kind of resembles its owner's attitude in a sense. You, what'd you say now? Further, my clothing's hem is not being stepped on by anyone. It is too expensive for me to allow that to happen. Please forgive the trespasses of my subordinate. Why should I forgive if the dress passes? Unless it is an expensive dress, you keep it. What? Okay. What have we here? It says Zhengfa Express on the cloth, sir. I'm gonna take a guess and say that this delivery company is based in Zhengfa. Something is tugging on the corner of my mind, as though something is out of place. The leftover suitcases sit here, lined up in two pretty neat rows. Too bad for Mr. Nero, but this design is unmarketable. Oh, why do they sell them in the airport and have a bargain basement sale? I might get one free. If you win the raffle, you get one more for free. How about those ideas, sir? I think if they did that, everyone would lose. Okay, thanks for that. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? I want to tell the governor that there is a contradiction here. What do you think, detective? Well, I think it's really suspicious looking, sir. My well-trained gut tells me so. I see. Well, then, I must be mistaken. How come when I answer, governor, do you take that to mean we're off course, sir? Okay. Maybe we're jumping ahead? The statue's eyes look like they're made of jewel-like stone. Those gems are pretty. And look at that fiery orange color, sir. Well, according to Mr. LeBlanc, this whole thing is worth a pretty penny. Ooh, I just got a real great idea. I could probably find some rocks down by the river I can polish up to look like real jewels. I think I'll try that out and give one to Maggie as a present next time. Wonder if he's serious. And I wonder if I should try to stop him if he is. That's it, I guess. There's something else we haven't discovered yet? Oh! Are these eyes made of some sort of gem? That's a real nice shade of orange. For a sec, I couldn't even tell if they were jewels. Oh, but they kind of remind me of the eyes of this stray cat that lives near my house. Are they all supposed to be this color? It's possible the statue is a fake? Oh, okay. Oh, red eyes. Okay. Alright. Now we're getting somewhere. These eyes are awfully orange, don't you think? Yeah, and pretty. They remind me of sunsets when I was in grade school, sir. I don't think you see what I'm talking about. No, I do, but it's really like the color of the sun when it's setting, sir. Ah, them memories. I remember standing out in that field, spinning with my arms out until I fell ill. I don't care about sunsets. Focus, detective. What color are the eyes in this photo? Sir, they're red. As I thought. This statue is a fake. Mr. LeBlanc? What do you want? Do you not know I'm a busy man? I allow you 2 seconds for your answer. The Elif Red. I suppose this is your pride and joy, is it not? It is the biggest trophy on this European trip. Do you know why I wanted to possess this statue? The trigger started 17 years ago. Better grab a chair, sir. Sounds like this is gonna be a long story. Mr. LeBlanc, I regret to inform you, and you have my heartfelt sympathy, but... What is that? Sympathy? For what? You'll see. I'd like you to compare the eyes. That large fellow there has very bright and pretty eyes compared to you. I wasn't talking about the two of us. I meant the eyes of the statue in front of us and the one in this photo. What is that yelling? Now then... oh. It is a photo of the statue on display at the museum in Europe. Now do you see, Mr. LeBlanc? The statue before us is a fake. A fake! I believe that even further examination will be required, now that we have confirmed that this is indeed a fake. There must be some sort of proof that this was brought on board in Zhengfa, and I will present to you evidence that will resolve the remaining contradiction. Can't believe you were able to tell this was a fake from a single glance, sir. You knew right away that its eyes were a different color than the ones in the photo. Yes, unlike a certain detective who needs to try a little harder. The fact that this is a fake means it was swapped with the real one at some point. So this Elif Red is a fake. That art dealers are looking too happy about it either, sir. I will get to the bottom of this for his sake as well as mine. What's this? The statue looks like it's stepping all over its neighbor's cloth cover. Kind of resembles its owner's attitude in a sense. You, what you said now? Further, my clothing must not be stepped on by anyone. It's too expensive for me to allow that to happen. Please forgive the trespass of my subordinate. Why should I forgive if the trespasses? Unless it is because you keep it. Okay, thank you. What have we here? It's a Zhengfa Express on the cloth, sir. Something is tugging on the corner of my mind, as though something is out of place. Is this possible compared to any of the evidence I hold? I'm totally confident that there's a contradiction here. What do you think, detective? Well, I think it's really suspicious looking, sir. My wet train guy tells me so. I see. Well then, I must be mistaken. How come when I answer confidently, you take that to mean we're off course, sir? What? Oh, brother. What else is there to do? What do you want from me? Just as Miss Tenero said, the timestamp said she bought the suitcase at 5:40 a.m. I mean, is that real? You really think the forgers would waste that kind of money on a replica? I guess not. Ooh, I just got a really great idea. I'd probably find some rocks by the river. How does the picture work and not the certificate? They both say the same thing. They both say from 4 to 5. What is it? And done with that. Alright. There's clearly a contradiction here. What are you going on about? It's just a simple case of a cargo cover getting stuck under another piece of cargo. So it's not possible. But it is. It shouldn't be this way, but the statue is on top of the cloth. Supposing that the neighboring piece of cargo was brought on board in Zhengfa, there is no way that any part of it should wind up under something from Europe. Which means that this fake statue was smuggled on board in Zhengfa. But then what about the cargo certificate? Let me ask in return, what about Agent Higgs? Why did he come down here in the middle of the flight? There is only one reason why. To secure proof of smuggling activity aboard this flight. So you say, but I don't believe you had to do that mid-flight. We could have just easily inspected all of the cargo after the plane landed. That may be true, however, you have it backwards, Franziska. Sure, Agent Higgs could have waited until after the plane had landed, but he had a reason for coming down to the cargo hold. Suppose he had found the fake at the airport. It would have been after the swap had occurred. At that time, the suspicion would naturally fall onto the statue's owner, who would have no way to prove that the statue was switched without his knowledge. Which means there is someone else involved who is forging or modifying cargo certificates. Cool. I guess the victim knew the real version of this was gonna get nabbed, huh? Yes, while this photo could be seen as nothing more than a simple souvenir, it was in fact taken to be used as a reference document later on. Next, Agent Higgs had to secure proof that the smuggling had taken place. He came down here to take a picture of the cargo hold, a rather empty one at that, right before the fake statue could be loaded on board. A photo of the hold missing a valuable piece of cargo would have been proof enough. After that, all he had to do was hold the Zhengfa cargo crew and arrest the smuggler. Exactly. This only goes to prove my theory. If the statue was not in the cargo hold during the Europe-Zhengfa leg of the trip, there would have been enough height from which Agent Higgs could have fallen to his death. Officer! Move the statue immediately! I want a thorough examination of the floor underneath. Now! Miss Von Karma, I'm ready to report my findings. Go on. After moving the elephant statue out of the way, we tested the area under it with luminol, and there was a reaction. I see. There was a reaction to luminol, an indication that there was blood in that spot. Can we stop looking at it now, sirs? It would seem that my deductions were correct after all. I suppose it would appear that way. The culprit cleaned the blood up well. And how do you think the killer did that? How did the killer clean up all the blood?
Take that!
The killer used the bloody cloth I found inside the suitcase to clean up the mess. I see. They had a need to clean up all the blood before the plane landed in Zhengfa. Yes, because otherwise, the cargo crew would have discovered it during the layover. So you guys are saying the murder happened before the plane landed in Zhengfa? There's no other conceivable timeline for the events of the murder. But if that is true, then that throws a certain person's testimony into doubt. If the murder occurred before we landed in Zhengfa, then this becomes highly suspect. Recall Miss Meal's testimony about Agent Higgs in regard to when we departed Zhengfa. I saw Mr. Higgs sitting in his seat at 5 a.m., you know. She claims Agent Higgs was alive at the time of the service calls, but that totally contradicts the facts, sirs. But why would she lie about something like that? I think the only person who can answer that is Miss Meal herself. To be continued. Okay. Oh, okay. Ladder part 2. How long have you been going? A little bit over an hour, I guess. Alright, sure. Let's finish this case. Here we go. March 12th, 3:35 p.m. Flight G390, lower deck, cargo hall. Miss Meal. Miss Meal!
Huh?
You recall what you said earlier? About when you answered some service calls as we were departing from Zhengfa?
Huh?
You said that Mr. X was sitting in his seat at that time. However, that is simply not possible. Because Mr. X was dead long before we ever touched down in Zhengfa. Miss Chamomile?
Maybe I didn't see what I thought I did.
No one could make a mistake so large, Miss Meal.
But I make that kind of boo-boo all the time.
This is going nowhere. There must be a better way of resolving this contradiction. Very well. Miss Meal, if you please, tell me about your alibi during the time span. From just before we were to land at 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. when the body was found.
Are you telling me I'm a suspect, Mr. Edgeworth?
That's, yeah, that's pretty much what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. From 3 to 4 hours, in the flight attendant's room all by my lonesome self. Yeah. And from 5 to 6 hours, in the flight attendant's room all by my lonesome self.
How is a man supposed to react to a testimony like that? Miss Meal, wake up! Sigh. She fell asleep again. Looks like the only way I'm going to be able to wake her up is by pressing her. Oh, yeah. Now we're talking.
Hold it!
Miss Meal, wake up!
I'm awake, I'm awake. Master Edgeworth, I demand that you do something about this flight attendant this instant.
Why ask me to wake her when you can finally put that whip to an appropriate use?
From 3 to 4 hours, in the flight attendant's room all by my lonesome self.
Hold it!
If I remember correctly, food was being served in first class in the lounge, between the hours of 3 and 4 a.m.
Yeah, but that concept's run by Miss Rhoda.
And what were you doing in the attendance room at that time?
Eating and then having a most delicious dream.
You mean you were neglecting your duties?
No way. Sleeping's part of our job too, you know. Oh, yeah.
Hold it!
Miss Meal, how many times do I have to repeat myself? Wake up!
I'm awake, I'm awake. Yo, what did you with me for, sir? Oh, what'd I miss?
Poor detective being on the receiving end of a lash in your stead.
Really? Sorry about that.
You can make amends for that by continuing with your testimony.
From 5 to 6 hours, in the flight attendant's room all by my lonesome self.
Hold it!
So you were alone the entire time, were you?
Yeah, no one else even popped their head in to say hi.
Oh, well, I think a contradiction just popped in to say hi. What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Yeah. Miss Meal, there's a clear contradiction embedded in your testimony.
Huh? What are you talking about?
It's not possible that you were alone in the attendance room the whole time from 5 to 6 a.m.
Take that!
Now take a look at this eye-opening piece of evidence. Miss Meal, I need you to wake up and take a look at this. Enough of your foolishness. Now hurry up and show us the real evidence. I guess it wasn't as eye-opening as I thought. What?
Did you say something?
Finally awake, are we?
What do you mean? I've been awake this whole time. Oh, it's already for sleeping, pal. Pay no mind to the scruffy detective beside you and wake up. Hurry up and wake up, Miss Mule!
Enough with the clowning around. This is my show and I will resolve the contradictions as I see fit. What?
What? Oh. Oh, okay. I guess this is more incriminating. Sure.
Objection!
Fair enough. Wonder if you'd be so kind as to take a look at this receipt, Miss Meal.
Huh? A receipt? For what?
It's for the suitcase Miss Tenero bought. Now, if I might direct your attention to the timestamp. As you can see, it clearly says 5:40 a.m. Miss Tenero?
Yes? Huh? Why is the killer here? I thought you'd have her locked up by now.
I requested that she be present as a witness so that we may straighten out your complex lie. Now then, Mr. Tenero, between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m., you took a trip from first class down to the first floor in-flight shop, correct?
Yes, I went to the shop to buy a suitcase. After which, I went straight to the attendance room to drop it off.
And did you see Miss Meal there at the time?
No.
So, Miss Meal, where were you really between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m.? Miss Chamomile?
Huh? The bathroom?
I'll be the one to ask questions here.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I probably just miss her. Nature calls, you know.
Do you take me for a fool? That's a little too convenient to be true.
But it's the truth. Cross my heart.
I don't have enough conclusive proof to counter-argue her at this stage.
You don't believe me, do you? But please, won't you give me a chance and hear me out?
Give us a detailed description of everything you did in the bathroom, and then we'll decide if you're guilty or not.
Look, I know you're suspecting me because I'm one of the crew. But you think then maybe you should also suspect Miss Rhoda too? She's the one in charge of the elevator key card in the shop, you know. If you ask me, that makes her super suspicious.
Please leave Miss Tenera out of the conversation. Only you are under suspicion for now.
I don't get it. Why are you covering for Miss Rhoda all of a sudden? Oh, now I get it. Maybe you've got your eye on Miss Rhoda.
Of course I'm keeping an eye on her. I can't very well let her escape, can I?
Never mind. But you want to know something? Miss Rhoda actually kind of like... I have absolutely no interest in people who can't appreciate my sense of design.
Now's not the time for this sort of talk. Ladies, please, behave.
Look, I know you're suspecting me because I'm one of the crew.
Hold it!
No, it's not the only reason I have for suspecting you. Your statements regarding Mr. Hicks also turned out to be a bunch of lies.
Ah, but say I wasn't an attendant. You wouldn't suspect me then, would you?
Yes, I suppose that's true enough.
But you think that maybe you should also suspect Miss Rhoda too?
Hold it!
She is already being detained for further questioning, or have you already forgotten?
Oh, yeah, I guess I kind of forgot. Guess I just forgot. Kemi, don't tell me you suspect me too. Sorry, can't help it. I mean, other than you, there's no one else who could have done it. Can't believe you would think that. I mean, me, a killer.
Miss Meal, what did you mean just now by no one else who could have done it?
She's the one in charge of the elevator key card and the shop, you know.
Hold it!
And what are you in charge of, Miss Meal?
I take care of the attendance room.
That doesn't count?
Aw, but I spent so much time in there. It might as well be my responsibility. Miss Edgeworth, Kemi is very talented in languages, so she assists passengers who may not speak English, especially those who speak Virginian. She is the only one on this flight who is fluent. Oh, you mean that kind of what am I in charge of? Why did you say so in the first place?
What else could I have meant?
Yeah, so I'm really good at Virginian.
She's fluent in Borginian. And I suppose you are in charge of processing documents in Borginian?
Yeah, I take care of anything that has to do with Borginian.
Very interesting.
If you ask me, that makes her super suspicious.
Hold it!
Actually, your on-the-job behavior makes you super suspicious in my eyes.
Huh? But why?
While Miss Tenero is busy with the passengers and all of her other duties, you have a lot of free time on your hands, thus providing you with ample time to commit the crime.
Objection!
Mars Edgeworth, I demand that you cease and desist in this line of conjectural questioning. I won't allow you to bluff your way through this like a certain defense lawyer.
But I do not honestly believe Miss Mill does any actual work about this fight.
That's not true, Miss Edgeworth. Although, well... all I'm in charge of are the attendance room and some Virginian stuff.
Hold it!
So what exactly do you do as the one in charge of some Borginian stuff?
I do stuff like translate things from and into Virginian. Cammy is the only member of the crew who understands Virginian, Mr. Edgeworth.
Miss Mill, I take it then that it is your job to process all the Borginian paperwork?
Yeah, see, I totally pulled my weight around here.
So it would appear. Perhaps I should ask her for a few more details about her work and... Miss Mill, it's very unladylike to push suspicion on to someone else.
That's not what I'm doing at all. I'm just saying that Miss Rhoda is very
There you go, pushing everyone onto her again.
I don't get what you're saying. Must be a really abstract concept, huh?
The only thing abstract here is the landscape inside your head. Ooh.
Objection!
So, you are the only one in this flight crew that speaks Borginian. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. I studied abroad in Virginia for a while.
If that is the case, then the signature on this document belongs to you, doesn't it? This is a falsified piece of documentation with only one purpose: to lead anyone who read it to believe that Mr. LeBlanc's statue was loaded in Europe. The only person who could have either prepared or processed this document in Borginian is you, Miss Mill. Without your participation, the smuggling of the Alif Red could not have occurred. Don't sleep while I'm pointing my finger at you.
I wouldn't dream of falling asleep on you, Mr. Edgeworth. It is exactly as you say.
Are you confessing to having participated in the smuggling?
No, far from it. It's true that I was the one who signed off on that document. But you can't use that fact alone to make your allegation of smuggling stick. There is no direct correlation, after all. All you have is my signature on a piece of paper.
Really? All you did was sign it.
I neglected to check if the cargo had been loaded onto the plane properly. So, sorry about that.
Seems like she's finally woken up. This is going to be one tough fight.
Suppose, and this is just a supposition, even if I was involved in the smuggling, can't throw the charge of murder on me just like that.
Objection!
If you were involved in smuggling, you would have a strong motive to kill. Agent Hicks was in the middle of an investigation regarding a smuggling ring, and just when he was about to close in, he's killed by a member of that ring. Well, did you ever stop to think that maybe Rhoda is the smuggling ring member? After all, unlike me, Rhoda has access to many things on this plane for work purposes.
So perhaps there is some element of a setup at play in this case.
What are you talking about?
Don't worry, I wasn't talking about you. I meant the killer. First it was myself and now it's Mr. Tenero who's under the microscope. Seems to me that our killer is going to great lengths to pin this crime on anyone they can.
You have no proof that Rhoda is being set up, or that she isn't.
Actually, I believe that she was indeed the intended target from the very beginning. I believe that the plan was to push all of the blame for the crime onto her. And this evidence will prove my suspicions. This proves that the killer was out to frame Miss Tenero from the very beginning.
Take that!
The killer could have hidden the body anywhere, and yet they chose the suitcase. Why is that? Perhaps it was to move the body up from the lower deck to the first floor. However, why go through the trouble to do so? The only way all of these actions make sense is if the killer had wanted to frame Miss Tenero for the murder. Miss Tenero buys a suitcase on every flight she works without fail. But should her suitcase be switched with the one containing the victim's body, that would put her in a very tight spot. Unfortunately for the killer, the turbulence put an end to that plan. There wasn't enough time to put the body back into the suitcase. Ergo, they made do with whoever was at hand, adapted their plan, and tried to frame me as I lay unconscious on the floor from the turbulence. The killer then went to hide the suitcase in the in-flight chop, and brought the piggy bank back to the elevator in order to fabricate a false weapon. A lot of work for a fruitless endeavor, wouldn't you agree?
Sounds like the killer had a tough time too, huh? I mean, why did the killer need to frame someone that badly anyway?
That is because of the special circumstances surrounding this particular case. What special circumstance dictated the need for the killer to frame someone? The special circumstance is simply that the murder took place on a plane mid-flight. No matter which country, customs is quite strict in this day and age. So no matter what you do, the chances that the body will be found is very high. Therefore, there was no choice but to frame either Miss Tenero or myself. In other words, the only one who fits within the boundaries of the criminal's movement is not Miss Tenero or myself, but you, Miss Chamomile. Only you and you alone could be the killer.
And? Are you done already? I was about to fall asleep again. Anyway, let's be honest here. You don't have anything on me other than a whole lot of circumstantial evidence.
I can see the outline of how the murder occurred, but I have no definitive evidence. And isn't there a piece of evidence that's still unaccounted for? Something that I still can't quite fit into the big picture? Oh!
Take that!
I don't have any actual evidence.
I thought not.
But that's because it went missing, and still is.
Missing? What you mean by that?
In the complex puzzle that is this case, there was one piece I kept getting stuck on. And that is the victim's cell phone. Franziska, you were waiting at the airport for a phone call from Agent X's cell phone. Or at least, that's what you told me.
That's right.
But Agent X's cell phone could not be found at the crime scene.
You mean, the killer took the phone with them?
Precisely. I suspect that if we were to find that phone, it would lead us to the killer.
Come on, get serious.
Hmm?
The victim felt his death from that height. Wouldn't his phone break as well?
We won't know that until we try a little experiment, will we? Franziska, I'd like to ask for your assistance. You know the victim's phone number, do you not?
Of course I do. Of course I do. Hey, Jesus' phone! It's ringing from somewhere, sir.
I hear it, detective. Now, where is it coming from? No? Okay. Sounds like the phone is up in the flight attendant's room. Oh,
better hurry to the flight attendant's room, sir. Ring is coming from somewhere in here, sir.
Leave no stone unturned, Detective Yamshu. We must find it. It doesn't seem to be over here.
Let's look somewhere else, sir. Ring is coming from here, sir. What? No, it can't be. This has got to be the victim's cell phone. Just whose locker is this, sir?
It's Miss Tenero's.
What?
Of course. Things can't ever be simple. March 12th, 4:28 p.m., Flight G390, lower deck, cargo hold.
So, Mr. Edgeworth, how did it go? Where did you find the phone?
I found it in the flight attendant's room, in Miss Tenero's locker.
What? But, Rhoda Tenero? I don't know anything about the phone. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Miss Von Karma, is it? I suggest you arrest Miss Rhoda Tenero right away.
Objection!
Wait, I have a theory. This is related to the incident with the keycard. When the killer went to steal the keycard, They conveniently stashed the cell phone in Mr. Nero's locker at the same time.
Objection!
This is related to the keycard, alright. In the same way that we have zero proof that the killer did just that. The only voice that sings the truth is evidence. That is the one bad we cannot ignore.
What should I do? Franziska's right. I can't offer baseless conjectures at this point. Alright then, why did the culprit take the cell phone from Agent Hicks? Must have something very incriminating or... It must have something very incriminating on or in it.
Hold it!
What now, Mas Edvers?
It's not over yet. We have yet to figure out why the killer took the phone.
What?
Inside this phone lies the final piece of incriminating evidence that will point us to our killer. We need to examine this phone in more detail. The LCD is broken. Without a screen, you can't even place a call with this.
Really? Somehow I doubt that.
Ah, it's a camera lens. Come to think of it, I wonder, how exactly was Agent Hicks planning to preserve the crime scene of a smuggling? Franziska, I need you to confirm something. This cell phone, can it take pictures?
Miss Edgeworth, I can't believe you don't know about this kind of basic stuff, sir. This looks like a very similar module to my own. And mine can take photos just fine.
Do you think Agent Hicks could have taken some pictures with this? In particular, pictures as evidence for his smuggling case? If so, I'd say there may be some very inconvenient photos in here for our killer smuggler.
But the phone's all busted up, sir. Even a super prosecutor can repair a broken phone.
I'll find a way, don't you worry about that.
May I go back to sleep now?
Objection!
The LCD screens on the inside and outside are broken, that's for sure. But that's also reason enough to believe that the killer wasn't able to erase the data. What?
What do you mean by that, Franziska?
Look, it looks like our killer isn't very familiar with electronics. This phone still rang when I caught it, meaning that only the LCD screens are broken. It's possible that the photos are still there inside, waiting to be accessed. All we need to do is transfer the data to my phone.
Franziska, your phone if you please.
Very well. It's transferring. Alright, displaying it now.
This is...
Agent Hicks was most certainly trying to obtain some evidence for his smuggling case.
Hey,
There are leaf red statues nowhere in this picture. But this has no meaning as a piece of evidence of this murder case, right?
Oh, she's right. There's not much we can find out. There's not much we can find out from this about Agent Hicks' killer, sir. This is it? Is this the end? Is there really nothing in this photo that we can use?
Is there like a shadow somewhere or something?
The fact that all of the suitcases are here in this photo is odd.
Agent Hicks was still alive at the time. So what exactly is so odd about suitcases that haven't been used yet being there?
Yes, well, I was only pointing out things that are different between now and then.
Your off-topic ramblings have put this attendant to sleep yet again, Mouse Edgeworth.
Grr, I'll give Sleepyhead here a rude awakening, a deafening objection and a contradiction.
Huh. Okay.
Guardrail. Looks exactly the same as it does now. That rail is entirely too low. I even almost fell to my death. However, I was saved in a miracle-like manner. Perhaps that is what to run away from death by the skin of one's gum means. Try to narrowly escape death by the skin of one's teeth, Shakespeare. Now then, there must be something in this photo. What's all this? Oh, they are a cargo ship from Virginia to Zhengfa. So the reason they aren't here now is that they were dropped off in Zhengfa. Mr. LeBlanc, can you tell me the contents of the boxes? Unfortunately, there's no English written on them anywhere. One cluster of boxes written in Virginia. It says... It is cloth in English. Cloth? Could it be? Is this where the killer... What? What for is that scary face? Miss Meal.
Yes?
It appears that Agent Hicks was no ordinary investigator. He left us with a piece of evidence, after all. A striking piece that will point out who his killer is.
Ha! Maybe you shouldn't force your mistake in reading of a simple picture, Mr. Edgeworth.
Virginian cargo and this piece of evidence will point us straight to the killer.
Take that!
And what is that supposed to prove?
The killer used this piece of cloth to wipe up the blood they had spilled. But there was one thing that bothered me this whole time. Where did it come from? And now I have finally found my answer in this very photo. The cargo that was unloaded in Zhengfa had cloth written on it. In Borginian, that is. And this is where the killer grabbed a piece from to clean up the blood with. That's right. The killer was someone who could read and understand Borginian. And the only crew member that fits that description is you, Miss Chamomile.
Ah, that's pretty flimsy. The killer probably searched through all the boxes looking for something to use. When you're frantic, you don't care if the box is in English or Virginian.
Sorry, but I cannot agree with your assessment of the killer's indiscriminate nature.
What?
There was no need for the killer to tear through boxes at random at all. And if the killer supposedly could not comprehend Borginian, well then. Logically, the killer would have opened this box first.
Take that!
Hey, it says baked cheese in English right on the box, huh?
Precisely, and bed cheese would be perfect for cleaning up blood, wouldn't you say?
So what are you trying to say?
That if I were the criminal, this box of bed cheese would have been what I would have spotted first. However, the killer chose to use some Virginian cloth. Do you have an explanation for that? The killer didn't want anyone to know that the real scene of the crime was his cargo hold, so they were afraid to leave signs that the box for the sheets had been opened. However, the Borginian cloth, well, that's a horse of a different color. Because the killer knew that it was going to be unloaded in the Republic of Zhengfa? That's right. That is why the Borginian cloth was used. And the only Borginian reader on board who can make such a calculated decision is you, Chamomile, you and you alone. It would be very easy for us to confirm if any of the boxes were resealed. All we would have to do is contact the Zhengfa authorities in time. We may even find other evidence to incriminate our killer within these boxes. So what do you say, Miss Meal? Why not confess to your crime here and now? Or would you rather wait and see what we find out from our investigation in Zhengfa?
He was with Interpol. I couldn't stop it. I brought him here. He started taking pictures. I couldn't be found out. I was scared. I was in trouble. Hey,
Whew, there we go. Case closed. March 12th, 5:26 p.m. Flight G390, first floor lounge.
we finished making all the arrangements to take the suspect in, sir.
Very good, detective. What about the smuggling route? Did she say anything about that?
They're taking her down to the precinct now. Hopefully we can get more out of her there. Whenever we even approached the topic, she just started foaming at the mouth. It was scary, sir.
She probably wasn't prepared to commit a murder all of a sudden. One thing is for sure, the ring behind this whole mess means serious business. Looks like there's a lot more to this case than meets the eye.
Mr. Edgeworth, I just wanted to say how much I appreciate everything you did. Thank you very much.
It was nothing. In fact, I should be the one thanking you for your cooperation.
But surely, if it wasn't for you, I might not be here right now. Instead, I can continue to serve our passengers as a flight attendant. I hope that, well, please accept this as a token of my appreciation.
That's so ugly.
I see. You don't have to take it if you don't want it.
No, I mean, I would never turn down a lady's generous offer.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure it will serve you well. And remember, we here at Go You Airlines are always ready to serve, Mr. Edgeworth.
Thank you. I'll keep that in mind.
Now I must bid you farewell. May all your skies be blue no matter where you go.
I can't believe we wound up investigating the whole day, sir, but boy was it fun!
Speak for yourself. My day was filled with earthquakes, elevators, and false charges. By the way, where is Franziska?
Oh, she's filling out some customs paperwork for departure.
Departure?
Yeah, Miss Von Karma is always really busy, sir. She's been flying from country to country to chase down some leads regarding her case.
Detective, can you cancel the car I had to reserve earlier?
You got it, sir.
Hope Springs Airport. Interesting. March 12th, 5:47 p.m. Franziska.
I thought I told you when you first landed. I have no time for idle chatter.
I have no intention of wasting your time. However, it has been a while since we last met.
I also have no time for such familiar reminiscences. Reminiscences? Reminiscences? Just who do you think I am?
You are Franziska von Karma, a very proud prosecutor deserving of much respect.
Till only a little while ago, I was but a wretched mutt who was always losing to you. A dancing pirouette Pierrot? Living her life on the name and fame her invincible father built.
True, your father, Manfred von Karma, didn't lose a single case for 40 years as a prosecutor. However, I wouldn't say he was invincible.
What are you talking about? The group I'm on the trail of is a little more troublesome than most. The smuggling route we found this time is only one sliver of the big picture.
Sounds like a dangerous assignment.
You really don't have to worry. I can take care of myself.
Yes, I suppose you can.
Plus, there's another agent on this case with me.
Oh, another agent.
He's a star among Interpol agents and has the highest successful arrest rate. Who knows? You may even run into him one day.
I was simply caught up in this one case. I hardly see why we would cross paths.
I suppose. But I doubt he would say the same.
I'm not following you.
You'll understand soon enough. The fight has only just begun, Mas Edgeworth. I'll be back in this country soon enough. And when I am, you can be sure I'll pay you back in full.
Sounds enticing.
Just like that, she's gone, huh, sir? Thank goodness. I can fire race easy knowing I won't have to watch out for a whip.
Detective Gumshoe, I want to thank you for all your help and cooperation.
Ah, it was nothing, sir. I was just happy to be able to work with you again. I think I'm gonna celebrate by adding a little extra salt to my instant noodles tonight.
Just how much did you cut his salary by, Franziska? Detective, I was wondering if you might give me a ride down to the prosecutor's office.
Sure thing, sir. I'll even fly down the road in the patrol car if you must. If you want.
Don't make me remind you, Detective. Safety first. Thus, I solved the first case upon my arrival home. Franziska von Karma, the smuggling route she was after. The leaders of that ring had already put their trump card into play. And the players on the other side of this war, they would begin to make themselves known through the next incident. Edgeworth speaking. I don't know, okay. Finally, I called who knows how many times earlier, but I couldn't get through. And you are? Have you forgotten... What? Miles, my boy? What? What? Damon Gant? Who could it be? Have you forgotten my voice, Miles, my boy? Oh, okay. Mr. Amano? Ernest Amano, correct? Okay, what voice do we give him? I can't really do Italian accents really well.
Finally, I called who knows how many times earlier, but I couldn't get through.
And you are?
Have you forgotten my voice, Miles, my boy?
Sure. I'll just pretend like a Sopranos character.
So you do remember me. I know it's rather sudden, but I can't ask this of anyone else. There's been an incident, Miles. My son.
Oh. Okay, maybe I should be sad.
Hey, my son's been kidnapped. There's been an incident, Miles. My son, he's been kidnapped.
Da-da. The end. There we go. Woof! Alright. Exciting stuff. Kidnap turnabout. Alright, well, there you have it, folks. Another episode down. Seems like we're only just starting, but at the same time, it seems like the end is nearby. Yeah, alright, well, that'll do for now. There we go, okay. Thank you, alright. Yeah. That's it for today, folks. Thank you all for watching, and until next time.